Hello, my name is OddyC. It is currently 2 AM in the morning, and about an hour ago, the Utopia Coliseum was released as part of a patch for Rocket League. And I've been playing around with it for the past hour or so, and I thought I'd post up my immediate thoughts, because it's kind of a mixed bag. There are some good things about it and some bad things about it, and hopefully this video is going to kind of just show exactly what's going on with this map and how hopefully it'll get a little bit better in time. So first off, let's look at the obvious. It looks beautiful. It looks brilliant. I love the aesthetic. I love the whole Coliseum feel of it. The texture work is absolutely fantastic. It's the best they've done so far, in my opinion. And it's not just the surroundings, you know, the backdrop. It's the pitch itself. If you look closely at like the pathways on the pitch, you can see that it's all in this kind of amazingly detailed mosaic style, and I really love the attention to detail that's gone into this map. And I'm just going to highlight one particular thing that I really like about the look of this new pitch. The next time you go into Utopia, why don't you just take a moment and look at the center, where the ball starts, the center of the pitch, because there's this amazing mosaic pattern of the Rocket League ball, and it just, I don't know, I just really love it. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. Like I said, I just love this style. So I'm a big fan of everything about the look of this pitch. I love the fountains in the background and just the regality of the whole stadium. It looks fantastic. I'd also like to point out that the trumpet, the war trumpet sounding whenever you score a goal is a really nice touch. It really kind of makes the map feel different in more ways than just the look of it. Not only does it fit perfectly with the style of the Coliseum, it also fits perfectly with Rocket League. It makes it feel more like a spectacle sport. Just the history of the Coliseum and gladiatorial combat and dueling and all of those different kinds of competition, it all makes perfect sense in the context of the excitement of a game of Rocket League. So I think the look and style of this particular stadium is its main selling point, right? It doesn't really change anything about the game. The pitch isn't really mechanically any different from any of the other pitches that are in Rocket League so far. And I think a lot of people are going to be disappointed with that. They're going to be disappointed that it's just another map. And I think that's exacerbated by the fact that Utopia, the original Utopia in the prequel Battle Cars, was this really wacky kind of circular donut-shaped map, and it played completely different to the current Rocket League stadiums. And so I think people are going to be quite disappointed that they've turned Utopia into a map that's essentially different only in aesthetic. But Psyonix have also said that new and wacky maps are coming, apparently, so people basically just have to sit tight and wait, and, you know, hopefully your expectations of the wackier and crazier Battle Cars inspired maps will soon be fulfilled. Now onto the downsides that I've found just by looking around the map and playing with it for a bit and talking to other people about what they feel about the map. The main criticism at the moment seems to be that the orange side of the pitch is far too bright. It seems to just catch the light much more than the other side, and players have actually had to adjust the brightness of their screens in order to compensate for it. So hopefully that'll be fixed. I think the gamma just needs to be tweaked on that map a little bit, and then that'll be absolutely fine. Another potential issue with this map is that the cage, the walls and the ceiling of the map are pretty much invisible unless you get very, very close to it. And I don't know if that was intentional or not, but other stadiums in Rocket League so far have like larger, vibrant lines across the walls and ceiling, and because of that you know how far away the edges of the stadium are, and that's really important for predicting the path of the ball. It's important for, you know, getting pinches right against the wall and all of that stuff. Utopia doesn't have those lines, and so unless you get really close to the wall, you're unable to see exactly where it is. And obviously you know what shape the cage is because it's exactly the same as all of the other maps. And it might have been intentional, like I said, but whatever the case, it's going to be more difficult, and I would probably say it's not a map that people should play when they're starting out learning the game, because you need to have that knowledge of exactly where the walls are in order to predict the path of the ball. So I don't know if they're going to fix that or if that's a feature of the map, but that's definitely something to bear in mind. Just a couple of other issues which hopefully are going to be ironed out pretty soon. My only other major criticism is it would be really nice if the goal line were a lot more prevalent, like it is in the other maps. In something like Manfield, you have a big orange or blue sheet across the goal, and you know just from a glance, when the ball is heading towards your net, you know exactly how far in or out of the goal it is just from a glance. But a lot of that seems to be negated in Utopia. I think it needs to bring out the vibrancy of the goal line again and make it a little bit easier to spot that. I'm sure people who have played the game a lot and know exactly where the walls and the goal line are, I'm sure they're not going to find any problems really. But for new players, it's probably going to be a little bit off-putting and a little bit more difficult to learn these things. So again, something to bear in mind, that this map might be a little bit more challenging as it is than all of the other maps so far. I've also noticed that you can see through the sides of the pitch at times, and that's because there's this hollow space about pitch level, because the backdrop is slightly raised, and so there's this hollow area of blackness where the camera can accidentally clip through the walls, and just it doesn't look great, and it's a bit of a shame because the rest of the stadium looks absolutely fantastic. So if they manage to fix that, then that'll be great. And speaking of clipping, you know, I haven't actually noticed this yet on Utopia, but Gibbs, who is one of the top players in the world right now in Rocket League, I asked his opinion on the Utopia map in one of his streams, and he replied that there were frequent clipping issues with the walls, and apparently the ball gets some very strange bounces off the wall sometimes, and it's quite off-putting, again, for players who need to predict the path of the ball, because apparently the ball can sometimes bounce in ways that you wouldn't expect. But hopefully that's going to be fixed quite soon, because that's definitely an issue with the map rather than a feature of the map. So, like with pretty much all of the other problems with Utopia so far, I mean, it's a fantastic map, but if they just iron out the wrinkles, then I think it's going to be a real blast to play on that map, because, like I said, it isn't mechanically different. It doesn't play any differently than any of the other maps so far in Rocket League. But despite that, the feel of it is completely different, I've found. It feels utterly new. It feels like a different experience when you're playing Utopia. And that's just my opinion. You might disagree, but I'm really happy with this map so far, and I just feel like if it was tweaked a little bit and a few of the initial bugs were fixed, then this might actually be my favourite map, because it just looks absolutely fantastic and it feels more exciting almost because of the atmosphere of the Coliseum and everyone watching you, even though they're just eggs watching you, but all the same. So in summary, I really like this map so far. I think it looks fantastic. It's got a few little bugs that prevent it from becoming the best map so far, and I think again a lot of people are going to be disappointed that it's not any different in terms of gameplay and in terms of the shape of the map. But you know, I don't mind that, because there are wacky and crazy maps on the way, and this evidently was not meant to be one of them. It was just meant to be a different style and a different atmosphere. And I really appreciate that. I think I'm going to be playing Utopia a lot more than the other maps so far. That's how much I like it. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the new Utopia map. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!